appreciate all human beings as equal and not to make any divisions on racial or religious or social grounds.
It's up to us how we want to live and how we want others to live. You want to make a beautiful world, or you want to make a terrible world. It's up to us.
Carry on regardless. That's the only message I can give, because there is so much more which could have happened and which I could have stood probably. You have to try and carry on as far as it goes, and once it doesn't go any further, you don't know anymore. So that's that.
Have respect for people, and respect for older people, respect for sick people, almost for anybody. And there's not much of that.
I often find it embarrassing when people think that one survived because of any special qualities or calling or faith. I think that's completely wrong. I think it was purely a matter of chance, had nothing to do with any merit or faith. Unfortunately, that's the way I feel about it.
I often feel that until you live through things, you don't realize what the human body and the human mind can take. And I think people will find that whatever situation they find themselves in, they can cope.
Wachsam zu sein.
Stay alert and never allow what happened to us under the Nazi regime to happen again.
I have no feelings of regret whatsoever, at all. Basically, it made stronger any of my convictions as far as faith is concerned. So, showing faith in this kind of things and counting on God's power, that's reason enough to have good hope, always.
I wasn't giving up. I wasn't giving up. I had the will to live, to see the world, to see again what was going on. And most of all, I wanted to tell the world exactly what happened, the final solution.
I sincerely hope that by us documenting all this and telling other people that we can avoid this in the future. Eventually, hopefully, mankind will learn from this, but I'm very despondent to see that after the Holocaust we still have such situations existing. And it seems that we haven't really learned the lesson worldwide yet. So let's work on it.
Es ist mir.
For me personally, I am disgusted that a party that had enough of its own victims during the Nazi period has never formally apologized. No one, not formally. And that is something that makes me very sad.
As my generation will disappear, my children, mostly my older son, will speak about it, but after him, it's gone. And you see what is happening in Rwanda now. What do we do about it? Nothing. What happened in Yugoslavia with all the women raped by the Serbs? What did we do? Nothing. You see that all those things can happen.
Such things should never happen again, whether to Sintis or other nationalities. It should never happen again. That is the worst thing imaginable.
In America, today's stories is forgotten tomorrow, and I don't want this to be forgotten. And I want kind of indicate to the young generations about there was such a thing as Holocaust, that there were people who were murdered, who were taken against their wishes, and how lucky they are born in this country where they didn't have to go through all that.
Ich möchte sagen, also ich möchte wünschen,
I would like to say, or I would hope, that no young person and no young child would have to live through what we had to live through.
man sollte
And one should resist the beginnings. And by that, I mean to change one's outlook, one's worldview. This can't be achieved by sheer force. I realized this when they wanted to re-educate me with brutality and violence. They are poor arguments.
Nothing is for granted. You can't take anything for granted. That's why I said, people say politics not for me. Damn right it's for you. Because it rules the whole world. It rules the whole life. What happens in one country, the other country, it is a difference between living and dying. It was politics that brought Hitler to power. It was politics that killed over 20 million people. It's all that you can't take anything for granted. I don't understand why people don't care what happens. I'm okay. The hell with the rest of the world. You're not okay. Because anything can happen anywhere. Who knew it would happen in Germany? We were fine. We were as German as the American Jews are Americans. Who knew? Nothing is for granted in life. You got to work for everything, and you can't put your head in the sand. I think you have to go out there and work, and you have to be the captain of your own ship.
What I'm going to read you are just a few sentences from the epilogue to my book. Celebrate life as much as you can without hurting others, for too much of it has been wasted through sheer madness. Keep in mind the victims of the Holocaust and their bones scattered all over Europe, unmarked with crosses or David's stars. For lest you forget, their sacrifices will have been in vain, and humanity will tumble into the abyss of evil again. Honor the memory of those fallen and strengthen your soul against repeated bereavement of mankind, so that you can look with a clear conscience into the eyes of your children.
People have to learn to be tolerant and accept human beings as they are. I'm horrified at the rise of aggressive nationalism that's come up ever since the war. I mean, what's going on with Serbia and Bosnia, Rwanda and this appalls me, because we get the feeling that we haven't really learned anything at all. Human nature is a strange thing, that however civilized we are on the surface, if you scratch a bit, and with certain provocation, with certain things happening, highly civilized people can turn into ravening beasts.